Uncle Sam, take the picture.
And now, Deborah Kobylt live.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on Deborah Kobylt Live. I have a great guest joining me today, and I've become like fast friends with this woman, Dedee Pfeiffer, star of ABC's Big Sky, created by her brother-in-law, David E. Kelley. It's one of the most talked about shows right now on television and honestly anywhere. So, Dedee, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Deborah, my new fast friend.
No, it's true, right? I mean, we're sending each other like poop emojis, like on the overnight on texting. It's like, wow. So we've been having a good time. What's that?
Poop emojis.
This is when you know that you like hit it off on a pre-interview, right? I'm so
them to people I love.
Of course, I do the same thing. But it's great to have you here. Your show is phenomenal. And I was watching, I don't know, something the other night, and there popped your commercial. I'm like, oh my God, Dedee, they're really pushing this show. Tell me about Big Sky for the one or two people who haven't heard of it yet.
Wow. Okay. Big Sky is a new ABC show, and it is a wild ride. I always describe it as buckle up. You're about to go for the bumpiest ride. The pilot, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but let's just say it's shocking. It's not very primetime TV, very cable. So I love the fact that ABC is taking a chance on this show. It's a little more gritty, and the cast is diverse and phenomenal. And I'll put it this way: when I read the pilot, I thought I was missing a page, or I read it wrong. I was like, did that just end that way? So
wow.
And every script, honestly, is getting even more in that genre of did you just what? I have to wait a week to see what happens. So it's exciting.
That's right. And how do you think we feel at home? I mean, it's very like, there's my nails. It's like, wait, what's next? What's going on? Yeah. But I love that it's female detectives. You know, tell us a little bit about like what it's about. You know, what the theme is of the show. What goes on.
Well, it's basically any parent's worst nightmare. Got a couple of sisters going on a long road trip, and let's just say they disappear, and then two unlikely female women who were friends remain friends, but it's a rocky friendship because of a guy in between who's my boss. And they have to come together to solve this mystery of where these girls went, and then which also unloads a whole bunch of other storylines, and also their mutual love, which is Cody. And where did he go? Is he dead? Is he alive? Now, I'm talking as if you haven't seen the pilot, but if you've seen the pilot, then you kind of know that this switches. Normally in these shows, the audience doesn't know who did it. This is the other way around.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I know.
So is you're in on it and we don't, or you know what I mean? Like these two detectives, Cassie and Jenny, Cassie and Jenny, they don't know. So we get to watch them try to figure it out. So it's kind of fun to list. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how we're at home going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What's going on? Hello, do you know what's happening? You know, you want to tell her, you know?
Like, we're talking to the guy, right, who did it. So it's, and you see them get really dangerously close, near misses. So there's those really fun elements. And I can't even tell you what's going on with some other scripts that are coming. It's going to be even more shocking.
How many did you shoot? How many episodes?
We're on episode 7 right now. 7 out of 10 for sure. And we're waiting for ABC to pick us up, hopefully for another 6. So I think I should text you last night saying, we did really good numbers. When are we going to get our pickup?
You did great numbers. And nowadays, that's really hard to do. It's got to be. Because, I mean, I know they say more people are watching stuff on television, but come on, you know, it's mixed in with Netflix and Amazon and then network and cable. And I don't know how people find anything in the first place, but this has had great buzz about it. And yeah, it had terrific ratings. So I'm pretty sure that that's going to get picked up again. Go ahead.
Your mouth to ABC's earballs. Because Mom and
ABC.
ABC, listen to Deborah now.
Yeah. So in your character, her name is Denise, right? How did you like channel Denise? How do you channel her? How do you like when you first read it and you realized that that's who you were playing?
It was an intro. This was the first time in really ever that actually David, my brother-in-law, called me, and I was finishing up my master's degree, which we'll talk about later. I was in the middle of my last year's master's internship, and he texted me, and we're not on like, you know, a group. We don't text. we don't really talk other than on holidays. He said, "Hey, are you still working as an actor?" This is 10 years later. I have a great role for you. So I was like, well, I almost dropped my phone, and it was like, oh, am I what? What? Yeah, like mic drop. So I, of course, was like, yes, E-E-E-E-E-E-S-S-S-S. And was stood there in shock, actually. I'm still in shock. And
but how great that he had you in mind for this. You know what I mean? Clearly, and look, he's great. David E. Kelley, and your sister, we'll get into that later too, is Michelle Pfeiffer. For those who may not have ever heard of her, that's your sister. And David E. Kelley, I mean, clearly he just sort of had you in the back of his mind thinking, when the right thing comes along, there's Dedee. That's got to be really cool, right? And he called you and you were like, what? Or texted you?
It was so cool because he didn't know that he threw me a lifeline. Like he didn't know, because I'd spent 10 years, I'd left the industry, went to school for 10 years with 2 kids in tow, single mom, the whole thing, because I'd never gone to college. I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I wanted to help people. So anyways, 10 years later, I was sitting there finishing up my master's of social work degree, realizing that I was about to go into the work field at 56 years old, starting at the starting pay is like $50,000 before taxes with 2 kids in tow in LA. And I thought, oh my Lord, how am I going to survive? Right? Oh my gosh, my computer's making noises. Deborah,
that's okay. Everything dings today. You know what I mean? You just never know what's going off these days. It's Tinkerbell. But go ahead.
So I was, there we go. I just figured it out. I did something electronically inclined. So anyways, I was sitting there thinking, how am I going to do this? And I also did want to find a way to pull together my beautiful and lovely fan base, for some reason, who still hung on to me after 10 years of disappearing. I wanted to pull that together with my degree and figure out a way to help people on a larger scale than just one-on-one. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. So he threw me this lifeline, putting me back on TV, regenerating my fan base, giving me some money in the bank to pay back those, student loans. And I'm hopefully going to figure out a way to pull together my lens as a social worker.
You will. Dedee, it's a long life. I mean, the fact that you even went back to school in your 50s, I know it took 10 years, in your 40s, and then ending up in your 50s before you graduated with a master's, by the way, in social work. Not just an undergrad, but you went for your master's. Let's back it up a little. Let's back it up to the very beginning. Let's go way back to the beginning of your career, right? The first, job you really had as an actor that people would know of was Into the Night with your sister Michelle and Jeff Goldblum, big fan. So tell me about that. How old were you? Like, what was that about? And did you really get the bug when you were doing that?
Well, to kind of go back even a little further than that, let's really go back. This is when the dinosaurs were roaming the world.
That's right. Actually, so my kids always say to me, "Oh, Mom, you were around with the dinosaurs." I think, yeah, I know. Okay, keep going.
Pretty much. I mean, we'd had no phones, no computers, none of that. Sorry, we actually went outside and played in bare feet, and you stepped on nails, and that's what you did. You yanked it out of your foot and kept going. At least I did that. I used to work since I was like 12 years old. Worked every odd job I possibly could get because I wanted money, because we were middle to low income family. And if you wanted something, you had to earn it. That's how my dad raised us. So by the time I was 18, I'd done every job possible that I could think of, being underage. And at that point, Michelle was doing Scarface. So I just was like, hey, I want to try this thing called acting that you're doing. And she's just like, hey, get your ass into an acting workshop immediately. Don't even think about headshots. Don't even think about an agent. Go to a workshop first, a good one, and see if you like it. Well,
you liked it.
I was in there for 2 years because I didn't know what I was doing. I was so bad at it. And to this day, I still think I have a lot to learn. It's something I could not
Come
manage.
on. Yeah, but I get it. But they say that of all actors. If you ask your sister, if you ask Al Pacino from Scarface, I mean, everybody always feels like they're not quite good enough, that they don't get it. Then lights, camera, action, it's like, boom. That's the magic of acting. And then somehow it comes out. Whatever's in there, the character comes out. Is that true?
Yeah, because I felt like I noticed how fun it was to move people, to make them cry or laugh or hate you or get some feelings going. I love that, because I love that when it happens to me. So from 18 to 20, 2 years, I just studied, and I worked illegally as a female, a cocktail waitress at female oil mud wrestler place. Illegally. Drinks. Oh yeah.
That sounds like fun. Crazy, but fun. Yeah. Okay. A lot of fun, actually. So you were a waitress. You were like getting your skills down.
Yeah.
And is that after that? That's when you scored that film? Or?
Yeah, I started interviewing, and I was so bad. I just would stutter, turn red, forget my lines. They were like, "What is this girl doing?" Finally, scored one, and then they said, "She's SAG, right? Remember the quintessential? You can't get an interview without a SAG card for a union project. But how do you get that interview to get your union card if you're not already SAG? That catch-22." Well, I got in by line on my resume because that's what we did back then. And I got the job, and then they said, my agent goes, "You're SAG, right?" And I was like, "No, remember, that's been my problem." And he goes, "Hold on, let me call you back." He says, "Oopsies, they're going to give the actress behind you, who they like just as much, your role because she's already SAG."
Oh man.
Michelle was working on Into the Night with John Landis. And I came back, and I was pretty upset because Michelle and my family, my mom, my dad, my sister's brother, jumped, "Dedee got a job." And I came back and said, "No, Dedee didn't get a job. Dedee got robbed."
Oh.
Michelle was so mad, she went to work and she told John Landis. And he said, "Oh, hell no. Tell her to show up on Saturday night in front of Fredericks of Hollywood and make her a $10 hooker, get her SAG card. But tell her."
Oh, that's wonderful that you were a hooker to get your SAG card. I love that.
$10 hooker. $10. And guess what? He said, "I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to cut it out probably. It's not in the script." He loved it so much he kept it.
See, you played a good hooker. I'm so happy for you, Dedee. But we all did that, right? I got my SAG card. I don't even remember. I think a friend of mine was doing commercials in New York, and I'm like, I'm going out for roles because I was auditioning back then. I got nothing. Okay, let me be clear, nothing. So I ended up here, just in that, that song that they talk about, could have been an actress. But anyway, but the same thing. And my friend had to, get me signed up for a SAG card. It's kind of like a ridiculous way to do things. You can't get a job without the card, but you can't get the card without a job. Man, do you have to finagle. Okay, so you got the job, you got the card, you played a really, really convincing hooker. And then after that, what's next?
Oh, then that's when you and I talked about it earlier. Then I went on, then I got Simon and Simon.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm really dating myself now, girl. Let's see.
Oh, come on. Who cares?
I love it. I'm 56, actually. I'm 56. 56.
Ooh, I like that.
I know, not
but,
more fun than saying, "Oh, I just moved my whole computer."
Don't worry about
fun?
it.
Like fitty, and then when you're 60s, you can be sexy, 61, 62.
Oh.
What do you think, Deborah? What do you think?
I don't know. I have to think about that because people would look at me and go, "What?" You know what I mean? So, but I get it. But I wonder how everybody else would get it. So, okay, so Simon and Simon. You did a horror film, which you exposed quite a bit. And on TV, you were in Seinfeld, Ellen, Friends, CSI, The Dead Zone. That's really cool. What was it like being on Friends? I mean, that would be like the big dream, right? I would be an extra. I would be, sitting in a closet. I would do anything on Friends. Such a cool show.
It actually was interesting because my son, who's now 18, Braxton, I had just given birth to him, 3 months. I was breastfeeding. Took my son and the dad to the interview with me, was breastfeeding him in the waiting room with a blanket. I wasn't rude. And gave my son to my husband and went in and read for a different role. And yeah, but they were like, we want you to read for this other role, which was the role I ended up getting. And it was so funny because there I was doing Friends, breastfeeding my 3-month-old son. Braxton took the curtain call with me. And the girls loved him. Jennifer and Courtney, Lisa, they loved, but Lisa already had her twins. So she was like, "Yeah, he's cute, whatever." She was already like,
"Please, I'm like, have enough of babies." Oh, that's so cute. That must have been a fun set to work on, though.
Yeah, Courtney and Jennifer, they love Braxton because they were like, "Oh, he's so cute," because he was really cute. Yeah. So that was fun.
What was it like, though? How many siblings do you have total? And your parents are from North Dakota. They ended up here, and you grew up in California. And you have what? There's 4 of you, right?
Yes, my older brother Rick, and then Michelle, and then my younger sister Lori, and we're all in our 50s and 60s. Yeah. And
Michelle becomes this thing, right?
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite lines that she's ever done. "I want a divorce." What was that from? That mob movie? It was just the way she did,
right?
Yeah, like when she was just stomping her foot. That was just so well done. But yeah. Come on, having a well-known sister, I would think would be like very, very difficult. But you guys are friends. You've always been friends. You're close. She helps you. You help her out. But what was it like when she really became like mega famous?
Weird. It was like weird because I kind of remember when it happened. Michelle, Lori, and I, we're all very like sisters. You know, we support each other. Like, see, what are these? Henry Rose, Michelle's perfume.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, a little plug there. What's it named, please?
Henry Rose. These are my favorite ones. Torn and dark. Oh, God,
Wait, Henry Rose. Is that named after her kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know she has a daughter named Rose, and I'm thinking, Deborah, put 2 and 2 together, right? So those are her kids. Okay.
She owes me now. Look, I just plugged you. Anyways, she.
I want to try it. So when you come back, because I know you're filming up in Canada, bring me one of them.
I will. Actually, there's quite a few. Like I said, they're so good. They remind me of like in the 80s and 90s when we used to dance. You know. No, you know, like
Yeah.
It reminds me like patchouli, sandalwood, like the old school, like.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love it. But I love the little plug, Michelle. You like that? So, okay, so you guys are close. You plug each other, support each other. So, just hold it up. Wait. Hold it up the entire interview. She's got to give you a percentage of this, though. There's no doubt about it. I mean, my listeners are going to flock to the internet and order this thing.
I know.
So,
big.
Yeah.
Growing up with her was like she's my older sister. But you know, a lot of people have older sisters or younger sisters that are beautiful. I have 2, and they're on both sides. Michelle's gorgeous and Lori's gorgeous. They're just one's blonde, one's brunette, one's blue-eyed, one's brown-eyed. They're stunning. So I'm used to kind of having beautiful women around me because that's.
Hello. You know they say the same thing about you. Knock it off. I mean, they're like, oh my God, I have these 2 gorgeous sisters. Plus, Dedee's got this adorable big personality to boot. I mean, come on.
Got the personality, but you know, it's like I know my truth, and I'm not like trying to belittle myself or bring myself down, but it is. I mean, she is stunning, she is gorgeous, but she's also like this incredible person, like my other sister and my brother. They're really good people. Like
your parents did something, right? It's probably because they're from the Dakotas, right? And they just came out here with whatever they brought with them. I'm thinking.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that we were raised with is just like the basics in when it comes to manners, which I'm raising my kids with, which is please, thank you, you're welcome, respect. To this day, if like any authority goes by me, I get like nervous, like, oh my God, they're going to yell at me. And I'm, you know, I have respect. I don't have entitlement. I don't understand any of that. Well,
because you work hard. You know what? If you work hard, if you show, as my dad used to say, show up every day, just show up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Even if it's whatever, just show up. Yeah. And that's why you're a worker. When you're a worker, there's no room for entitlement.
Absolutely.
Period.
My dad, a worker, he climbed the roofs. I mean, heating and air conditioning, had his own business, made his own sheet metal, and his whole thing was, you want it, you earn it. No one's going to give you anything. And that's why a lot of people were like, oh my God, your sisters Michelle and David, why aren't they hiring you all the time? And it's like that doesn't even we don't really compute with that. Like it's like in my world, in our world, if you want something, you earn it. I read for David's shows. I didn't get them. Okay.
Yeah.
Not awesome. If I wasn't the right person, then don't hire me. That's gross.
But that is a testament to how close you are, because you know, I might even do that. I might even be like, come on, I wasn't that bad. I mean, you know, but the fact that you guys respect each other enough to just say, I wasn't right for it, it's all good. But, you know, someday down the road, eventually you were right for it. Right here you are doing Big Sky. So that's pretty phenomenal.
I know. So and this one really makes sense to me if you think about it, right? Out of all the other things that David has done.
Oh yeah.
This one,
it's very you. It's truly a Dedee. It's a Dedee role.
Yeah, like I love Denise. She's a smart ass. She's 50. Girl, I'm playing a younger woman. She's 50.
Yep. You're going younger.
Playing a younger woman. I love representing the older population. I love playing somebody who's like the Rock, the mama bear in a crazy piece. Like that's really fun. And I got to tell you, I got a great schedule. I'm not in the show a lot. I'm in every show, but I'm not like heavy in every show. So like I work the other day and I won't work again for the 2 weeks. So I a lot of Canadian pigeons and my seagull, which I sent you the picture of, seagull, my Gilligan.
Right.
My pet seagull who's out of my balcony. Yeah, I have a lot of time off. I'm going insane. But it's, and also, you know, I also think it's really important for me to remember that how grateful I am to get a job at 56 years old and as a woman during the pandemic.
Well, let me ask you, is there more of that going on now, you think? Not just because of the pandemic, but, you know, I'm just saying the roles for people of a certain age. I think so. I hope
so. How about this? I hope so. Remember, I've been gone for 10 years. I've been studying and reading periodic articles and writing papers and raising 2 boys. I just came back to this, and I haven't even watched TV in 10 years. So I was shocked that they were cussing on TV. I was like, when did that happen?
What? Finally, you gotta mirror real life a little bit. You can't always sort of be
Yeah.
20 years behind what's really happening. But again, to get back to roles for people over a certain age, there's more content. So if there's more content, there's got to be more characters out there, and more characters would mean ages, 0 to 100 or more. Don't you think? It's got to be.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like we do exist as people past 50. We're alive. We're involved in the world a lot.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
So what? Yeah. The world is not completely all from, 50 and younger. I mean,
yeah.
It is nice though, and I think too, it's like I try to embrace my age. I'm not no different than anybody else. When I saw myself on screen the first time after 10 years, I was a little taken back, a little shot in the gut. But then I was like, well, okay, here's rule number one. When you're in your 50s, you don't put a lot of face makeup because it just makes the wrinkles 10 times worse.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like right now, I have wrinkles, but I just don't put a lot of face makeup on them, So, but but I have to embrace that. Like if I'm expecting and ask other people to join me in embracing our age, then I better do it myself, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you don't do what you think you need to do to look good, which is stay fit, eat as well as you can.
I got that makes this whole gobble gobble go away. Oh yeah, I'm all over that. Hit me with
really. I'll have some of that too, please. So when I get the perfume, just tell me what you're using down there. That's something I'd like to do. But for me, it's like it just means just eating a little less of the pandemic food. Which has been a little rough, even though I try and say, oh, no, I was fine. It's like, no, I really wasn't. I probably overdid it during pandemic. But so you guys record, you tape in, you're up in Canada, right?
Yeah.
You're not seeing your two boys. That's got to be hard, right? So they're down here doing school and you're up there. How much longer? I mean, even when you get picked up, I'm going to say when you get picked up again, do you get a break and come back here or no?
Well, that's certainly the burning question. If we don't then we get 2 weeks off, which is kind of tough because 2 weeks is a quarantine.
Yeah.
That's tricky.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's times are different now. And, it's funny because we can often sit in our the sacrifices that we're making,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't see my kids. I haven't seen them in 4 months. But like I say to my boys, I say, yeah, we can leave room. This is difficult not seeing you and you not seeing me. At the same time, there are people who go to war. There are parents that go to war.
Of course.
Right? Let's put this in perspective. I'm not going to war, but you know where I am? I'm part of a group of people who are trying to entertain the world right now, or at least our country, during a really tough time. And that's kind of cool.
That's absolutely true too, because your show is so riveting. You're definitely entertaining people. You can't possibly think of anything else when you're watching Big Sky. You can't. It's phenomenal. So I think that's great that you taught that to the boys, though, that you said that, because it's also important for them to see mom work. Mom took off time to work. I am the breadwinner here, and that's what mom has to do. So I think I applaud you for that, Dedee. That's great.
Thank you.
Oh, look at you.
Friend, you're so sweet. I'm going to send you another poop emoji.
That made my day or my evening last night. It's like, I'm sitting here scrolling through my phone, looking actually at some big Sky material, and a poop emoji comes up. I'm like, this is when you're friends and you can send somebody a little shit. I love that.
Wait a minute. Explain to him what the poop does.
Oh, I forgot. What does it do?
It farts the heart.
Yes, it's a poop that farts a heart. I tell you, got to love it, Dedee. This is how you're thinking at 10 at night. You got to love it. I forgot about that. But I was more focused on the poop than the heart. So to me, it was like, I was very excited. Let me talk a little bit about schooling, okay? You took time off from acting, and you wanted to go to school because you really do love helping people. That's in your heart. That's really, I think, your number one thing that you love doing, which you're doing now with your show, right? Just like you said, you feel like you're entertaining people. It's not about Dedee Pfeiffer in this role. It's about this great ensemble that's bringing this great entertainment for people. But you did take 10 years off to get your master's degree from UCLA in social work. What did you do with that? What are you doing with that? And what do you want to do in the future with that? Because that's pretty phenomenal.
10 years ago, I hit a place in my career where I felt like I'd been so damn loyal to my career.
Yeah.
I feel like my career was being very loyal back. I also was watching a lot of things going on in the world that I did not.
Yeah.
And although I've always done a lot of volunteer work. Like Angel Food, Children's Hospital, rescuing animals, wildlife. I mean, everything. I mean, anything I get my hands in. I was constantly doing volunteer work, but I felt like I needed something more. I wanted to go to sleep at night and wake up every morning knowing that I'd made a difference in the world somehow. And I could tell that to my boys until I was blue in the face, but unless I was doing it myself on a scale that made sense, you know, because I'm just preaching, right? And you know how kids, in one ear, out the other, hits the wall. So I'm going to show them that at any age, any gender, whatever you're doing, I was 30 plus years in the industry, you can change the trajectory of your life. Just grow little balls, take your diaper off, put your G-string on is what I say to myself. And it's scary, right?
Yeah.
It's scary. I was like, I've never gone to college before. And I walked up to Pierce College and walked up there and said, hi, I want to get a degree, I think, or I want to help people.
I think. Okay. So then did they help steer you toward social work?
Yeah.
Wow.
I literally went up there. I said, I know I need a degree to help people. I don't know what that looks like. They're like, well, what degree do you want? I said, I don't know. You tell me. They're like, no, this is not how it works. You tell me. I said, I want to help people. They said, a psych degree? I said, sure. Okay. So I just started a community college, didn't have a clue what I was doing, discovered I had a terrible processing and reading disorder with some disabilities. They held me along the way. Otherwise I would have flunked out.
That's great. By the way, I just want to say one thing. Shout out to community colleges. I think they're great. I think many of them have terrific sports programs. A lot of them really help put you on a track to going into a career or thinking about a career. And I'm all over the community colleges. People are so wrapped up into going to like a phenomenal 4-year school. It's like save money, save time, learn more about yourself, and go to community college. Anyway, back to you.
Could not agree with you more. 1,000%. I went there. Yeah. They literally helped me, spoon-fed me. Professor saw in the beginning that I was struggling. I was so eager, so excited, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I was struggling. And they said, I think you might have a learning disability. Let's get you tested.
Wow.
They detected it. They were like, well, the woman's trying hard, but she's just struggling. They helped me into disabilities where I got provided a note taker. I had a little extra time on my tests.
That's great.
Really,
and so then, that's great. So then you ended up going to UCLA and you got your master's. What's that?
So I went to Valley and Pierce for 4 years to get my AA. Then I went to CSUN to get my BA, my Bachelors of Psych for 2 years. And then it took me 3 years to do my 2 years master's at UCLA. But I can tell you right now, there's no way I would have ever landed at UCLA if it wasn't for Pierce, Valley, and CSUN.
No, it's true. It sets you on a path to go to, the bigger university. You're ready for it. There's no doubt about it. What's your area of interest when you decide, when you're not working in acting? Who would you like to work with the most? What's your interest?
Well, I chose a master's of social work because it's such a diverse degree. We're taught about macro, meso, and micro. Macro meaning policy and communities, right? Like the policies that all the people in social welfare work with. The policies, are they working really for the people or just a politician in? And then meso when it comes to communities, right? And then also micro when it comes to individual, personal therapies, modalities, and what have you. So it's this fantastic degree. My area of concentration is not children. I know you hear social work and you think children.
No, I think of everything. Are you kidding? There's need everywhere, especially with elderly people. There's drugs. The homeless situation is out of control because there's nowhere for them to go and help them. I mean, there's so much need. So go ahead. Where's your interest then?
My area of concentration is those experiencing homelessness, mental health, and substance use. Those are the three that I'm really passionate about. My first year internship was with LA Family Housing. I was outreach, multidisciplinary team in the fields, under the freeways, with the pit bulls, with that community. Fell in love with that community. Oh, yeah. I just
that's beautiful. I got to have you back on the show just to talk about all that because there's so much need. And I really mean this, Dedee. There's so much need out there and you're right, front and center and you know what's going on. And you would have a perspective on how to help them because it's multifaceted. I know that you're 2 years sober, so I know you've had some, difficulties on your own, but you've lived through it, so you know how to. That's right, including smoking. You were telling me.
Oh yeah.
But that's rough, Dedee, but you've had that experience. You can help people through it. I think that's beautiful. I really mean it. I want to have you on to talk about that.
I'd love to come back because there are so many different facets of that population and what is going on. And you do have to look at it there's different perspectives. There's upstream and downstream perspectives. And one thing I would thought, which is interesting, is that you got to really look at where it trickles. You know, you got to look at upstream perspectives, because otherwise you just keep shooting. You're taking the weed off at the top. You got to go a little deeper, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of money funneled into that population. They're not getting it.
Yeah.
Also addiction and mental health. I mean, we do have those.
That's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything.
You have to address every single person from a biopsychosocial perspective. No two people are the same. No two addicts or people experiencing homelessness are the same, right? You know, we're both blonde. Well, actually, I'm red, but you know, no two people are the same. I was blonde. I'm red now. I took one for the team for the show. But yeah, I would love to come back. It's such a, I love that population, and I'm going to find a way to help them on a larger scale. I just have to, we have to get our pickup on Big Sky first.
Yeah, but you will get that pickup on Big Sky. Really, the buzz on it is true. What are they going to do? Turn their back on it with buzz like that? But just talking to you and hearing where your passion is, I can really see how you brought that to your character, Denise, right? I mean, you really did. Like, Denise is Dedee. I really feel that, you know. So another shout out that you could give for Big Sky, for people to run out, for people who haven't even seen it yet. You know, that's another thing. Oh, please. And where can we catch it? I mean, ABC, but it's ABC, also streaming, right? So
Tuesday nights, 10 o'clock Pacific time. And also, for those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend you watch the first one first.
Well, why wouldn't you? I mean, that's like weird to like start in the middle, right?
I had one of my friends who fell asleep and goes, "Oh, I'll catch the second one." I said, "No, dude, no.
No. You can't do that with this. You really can't. You can. There's some where you just have to start at the beginning. You know what I mean? I mean, I mean, it's a storyline, and you have to follow it, right?
Journey. It is a crazy journey that you better buckle up. And it's a great show because you kind of really don't know what's going to happen next. And I love that element. I, as an actor, when I read the scripts, actually I want a script waiting for me, number 108. I don't know what I'm about to read as an actor on the show. And that's so exciting. Like, we don't even know. So people go, you know, what's happening? I'm like, I don't really know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, beautiful. I'm so happy that we got a chance to talk. We sort of covered a lot and then a little all at the same time, right? Your family and growing up and some of your own struggles and your master's degree in work and social work. And of course, Big Sky. I think it's going to end up one of your favorites of your entire career. I really do. It's so clever. I think it's so smart. I love this show. Please, people, Tuesday night. And then of course on demand, whenever you want to watch it, Big Sky. And I don't know, write to Dedee on her social media, right? Do you respond back to people? Are you big? No, right? You just started Instagram. I forgot.
Yeah. I remember, because you said to me, "Oh, do this," and I was like, I have to ask Turk, my publicist. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm very new to social media, so I apologize to anybody who's following me, and I don't follow you back, because I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. I don't tweet, but there's someone out there tweeting pretending to be me. That's not me.
Oh no!
I hope they're not making me look like cool. Hopefully they're saying nice things and it's fine. I have Dedee Pfeiffer official, because once again somebody else also took my name on Instagram. I'm actually flattered that people are.
I was going to say, this is when you know you've made it big time, when they're stealing your name and pretending to be Dedee Pfeiffer, a Big Sky, right? A big deal. So look for Dedee on Dedee Pfeiffer official. Write to her. She doesn't write back. We'll get to her publicist, Turk, who's also a friend of mine. We'll make sure that he writes back for her. But and watch, please, everybody, Tuesday night. You know, if you're out there tweeting, tweet about it. It's a great show, because we want to make sure it gets picked up. Yeah. And such a pleasure to talk to you. I really, really appreciate it, Dedee Pfeiffer. We'll have you back on the show, because now you're a friend of the show, so that'd be really fun.
I would love to. Thank you.
Yeah, and I look forward to getting my poop emoji later. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Dedee Pfeiffer of Big Sky, ABC. And you can find Deborah Kobylt live, not on ABC Network, but you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and just about anywhere that you get an audio podcast. You'll find us on Amazon, on iHeart, on Apple Podcasts. Like, if you just type in our name, boom, there's our podcast, audio and visual. So thanks to all of you for joining us. I really appreciate it. And Dedee Pfeiffer, of course. And we'll see you next time.